Firstly, this woman of pleasure, her preparation, she make no preparation compared to Lady Wisdom. If you read in verses 1 and 2 of Proverbs 9, right? She built a house, the columns are there, right? She prepared the meals, the wine, set the table. But what did this woman pleasure do? She make no preparation, and she's loud, as you've been read to you, seductive, and knows nothing, as quoted in the ESV version, the English Standard Version in verse 13. She is otherwise described as loud-mouthed, empty-headed. Some version say she doesn't even know that she's like that, and brazen-faced. So we can compare her lack of preparation with Lady Wisdom in verses 1 and 2, where Lady Wisdom built a house. She set up its 7 pillars. That means it's perfect, the pillars of perfect. She had prepared her meat and mixed her wine. She has also set her table, whereas our woman pleasure here did nothing in the preparation. In regards to woman's pleasure plea, she sits at the door of her house. And unlike Lady Wisdom, who sent out her maiden to be heard. Secondly, she sits on a high seat by the highest place of the city, where Lady Wisdom also cries out. But Lady Folly cries out from a seated position. If you read in earlier, she is not standing, but seated. What does it tell you about her posture? She sits at the door of a house on a seat at the highest point of the city and calling out to those who pass by. Her posture tells us that lazy, even calling out to people also don't really give all the good effort, right? Take it easy, seated. So it doesn't paint a very good picture of Lady Pleasure. And what was her plea? She calls to those who pass by in verse 15 and 16, especially the simple, calling out to those who pass by, who go straight on the way, the simple. Let all who are simple come to my house. And those who lack understanding. And this Lady Pleasure is competing with Lady Wisdom. For who? For the soul of man. For your and my soul. And what has Lady Pleasure to promise? Firstly, we read in verse 17, stolen water is sweet, food eaten in secret is delicious. What does stolen water mean? It's an illusion to elicit intercourse. In the NLT, he said, drink water from your own well, share your love only with your wife. Proverbs 5:15. Secondly, this promise is a false promise. Stolen bread tastes sweet, but it turned to gravel in the mouth. Reading from Proverbs 20, verse 17 in the NLT version. So, we find that Lady Pleasure is offering illicit sex and a false promise. Secondly, the true promise is unknown to the simple, lacking understanding. Those people who walk straight past by her, right, and been caught by her into a house, they lack understanding. They're very simple. Her home is the house of the dead, We read in verse 18 and 19. Entering a house leads to death. It is a road to the grave. The man who visits her is doomed to reach the path of life. Reading from Proverbs chapter 2, verses 18 to 19. So, those people who goes into a house do not know that a house leads to death and the road is to the grave. So the man who visits her is doomed and never reach the path of life. This is talking about